Mike Gundy's Cowboys against Neil Brown's Mountaineers, just about set for game time. And stay with us here. A little bit of a tongue twister, but it's the exact scenario that we have today. The last couple of times that Mike Gundy has had a ranked team and they've gone on the road against an unranked opponent, they've lost. The last 3 times that West Virginia has been in this scenario, at home, when they're unranked, here comes a ranked opponent, they've won. And that's, again, what we mentioned we had last week at Camp Randall between Wisconsin as a very dangerous unranked home team and a top 10 team in Iowa. That's a challenge for the team that is really playing for their whole season as the Pokes are.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State fans love us right off the bat. They're both
lovable.
Yeah, they're both of these teams are playing really good football, specifically the last 2 weeks. I'm excited. This should end up being a fourth quarter football game, last possession type of feel.
Oklahoma State won the toss, and they deferred to the second half. So it'll be West Virginia that starts with the football. Winston Wright and Grayson Malashevich back deep to receive the opening kick. And Wright's going to bring it out from a yard deep. Nice little dead leg move, and another. Gets brought down at about the 23-yard line. Tanner McAllister makes the stop on special teams. So Jarret Doege, 11 touchdowns against 7 interceptions so far this season. Dan, you broke the tape down, and there was kind of a pro column and a con column to his game at times this year.
Oh, the past 2 weeks have been the best 2 weeks of the season. He's really efficient when he's listening to his feet within the pocket. If he does that today and avoids some of those catastrophic mistakes, lean on the run game, he's going to have the opportunity to win this game late.
Play action on first down. Doege well protected. Now out of the pocket, and he's just going to heave it to the sideline as no one was open. Tanner McAllister came on a delayed safety blitz to pressure Doege. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And when you say listen to your feet, what do you mean?
Well, sometimes when he's not seeing the field clearly, you watch his feet and it's hitch, hitch, hitch. And it's sometimes his eyes stay in the same location. If you are in a pocket and your feet are saying hitch, hitch, that's 3 or 4 hitches, that means the guy that you want to be open isn't, and you have to move off of him. That's how you avoid mistakes.
Tunnel screen here. Sam James gets loose. James to the sideline. Downfield blocks. He's to midfield. Tripped up. But got to the 45-yard line of the Cowboys before he was brought down. Colby Harvell-Peel tripped him up, but not before he picked up 32.
We're going to see 5 or 6 of these perimeter screens for West Virginia. Watch the big fellas. Frazier and Nestor just get out in space, and then it's James's job to kind of feel those blocks and get into the open space. We will see a handful of those screens today out on the perimeter for this Mountaineer offense.
Doege to throw again. He's going to take a shot looking for Sean Ryan. Underthrown, out of bounds and incomplete. Sean Ryan wants a flag, but looked like Jarek Bernard Converse was in very good position.
When you got a 6'3", 6'4" receiver in Sean Ryan, and you're taking that first down shot for Doege, you got to give your guy an opportunity to go make a play on the ball because he's got that 3 or 4 inch advantage. Last thing you want to do is throw out of bounds.
TJ Banks, the tight end in motion. No Mike O'Loughlin today, the #1 tight end. And the #1 running back, Letty Brown, is brought down at the line of scrimmage for no gain. So it's going to be 3rd down and 10. Malcolm Rodriguez, semifinalist for the Butkus Award, came up to make the stop, and now playing with some up-tempo here. West Virginia. And now Doege will look over. Winston Wright in motion. 4-man rush on 3rd down and 10. Doege finds the crosser. It's bobbled, held onto by Banks. And now an early decision to make for Coach Brown. That's a gain of 7, too far for a field goal. Dan, 4th down and 3 at the 38-yard line. Looks like they're going for it.
I love the fact that they're getting to the line of scrimmage with tempo there. That completion of Banks is a big deal. And now you can get to the line of scrimmage and try to gather some information. Is Oklahoma State going to pressure us? Are they going to be in man coverage? Try to get to an ideal play.
Oklahoma State showing an all-out blitz. They'll bring 4. Dagey unloads to the sideline to Lenny Brown. He's got it. That's a first down for West Virginia as they convert on 4th and 3. All he needed was 4, and he got it.
This happens because of the receiver up top. Watch how he comes and runs this split route. Now that's going to force the safety to play over the top, and he's got just enough time to get that ball to Lenny Brown. Harvell Peel goes over the top because of that sit route, and just enough cushion to get that completion. Good job by the receiver doing his role.
Lenny Brown motions into the backfield here on 1st and 10. High snap pulled down by Dagey, but it will be a false start, it looks like, against the Mountaineers.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, number 16, defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Interesting. Was that a simulated snap count from Devin Harper?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times those defensive guys will yell something or clap, you know, try to confuse the signals or the communication of the offense. Good job by that officiating crew.
Full house backfield now on 1st down and 5, and they bring in Garrett Green at quarterback. He is a zone read threat. He could take off. There he goes. Green down in the red zone before he's brought down at the 19-yard line. He's got 310 yards rushing on the season now. Jason Taylor tripped him up. And they're going to stay again up-tempo and leave Green in the game in that diamond formation. He'll keep it again and pick up about a yard.
Green's a guy that, you know, when you talk to the offensive coordinator for West Virginia, Gerard Parker, it's like, how do you want to use him? And he kind of coined it as, we want to steal some yards in the run game. Oklahoma State defensively so good against the run. When you add Green in there, it becomes 11-on-11 football. If they can steal 3 or 4 yards, it's a big deal against this defense.
Now Dagey back in the red zone, 2nd down and long. Lenny Brown leaks out of the backfield. Dagey instead underneath left to Winston right. Forward progress to the 15-yard line for a couple of yards. So now 3rd down and 6 from just outside the 15. Christian Holmes made the tackle.
This offense is predicated so much on ball distribution. They're trying to get as many completions as possible, really using all horizontal aspects of the field. And now this is why they love to get an empty on 3rd down. It clears the picture up for Jarrett Dagey. He can communicate protection. He can see what the coverage is it man or zone, and find the matchup he loves.
He diagnosed the pass rush. Only 3 coming. Flag down. Dagey out of the pocket, and he's brought down at the 15-yard line. Christian Holmes came up to bring down Jarrett Dagey. Let's check the penalty marker.
You're going to get offsides.
An early jump from Oklahoma State.
Offside, number 89. Defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Just right over the center's head. I see. Watch. Definitely going to cross the football. See how he moves almost on the clap of Jarrett Dagey. The center's actually in a 1 count to allow that defensive line to try to time up that clap, and just that little hesitation forces that jump.
So now it's 3rd down and short. Lenny Brown cut down behind the line of scrimmage. 4th down and 4 after the tackle for loss by Lamont Bishop. And it looks like the field goal group will come out to get the Mountaineers 3 to start. Casey Legg trots on the field. So a red zone defensive stop for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'd say good start for both teams. You know, Oklahoma State's defense gives a little bit, but forces the field goal attempt. And if you're West Virginia, you just took 6 minutes off the clock, and you have the chance to go up 3-0 at home on your first drive of this game. So a little bit of good by both units.
Casey Legg from short range, 30 yards out. And he has now made 14 in a row Actually, sorry, made 13 in a row to start the season before finally a miss. He is now 15 of 16 on the season. Got some rivalry games tonight, including the featured one over on ESPN at 7 Eastern. LSU looking for the upset against number 2 Alabama in Tuscaloosa. 7 Eastern here on ESPN in the app. One app, one tap. And there was a big feature on Game Day 2 earlier today about the fact that maybe not as many folks around America understand how much Oregon and Washington just don't like each other.
Yeah.
That's another good one to keep your eye on tonight.
It's a big game for Oregon as well. You know, the first time that you're in the college football ranking first 4, you got to go prove that you are deserving of that slot.
So a field goal to start for West Virginia, and a fair catch made by Brennan Presley. So the first Oklahoma State possession on offense will be at their own 25-yard line with Spencer Sanders at quarterback.
And it's similar to Jarrett Doege. The best 2 games of the season have been the past 2 weeks. I'd like to see this today from this offense, specifically with Spencer Sanders. Get him involved as a runner early on. When you watch their games, he plays his best when he's utilized as a running aspect for their offense. It just allows him to get through his progressions much better as a thrower. Use his legs early on.
He was out for the opener in the COVID protocol. Dealt with an ankle injury last season as well. To the air on first down. Rifles one to the 31-yard line to the true freshman Bryson Green. And a quick check with Matt Barry.
Guys, good afternoon. Time now for your Perfect Match Studio Update brought to you by Cars.com. Can the playoff in Cincinnati be a perfect match? Well, early on, Desmond Ridder punches it in 7-0 over Tulsa.
All right, Matt, thanks very much. And off to Jalen Warren up the middle for about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. So right to start, 3rd down and 4.
Still feels like you can use your run game off to the bottom of the screen the way West Virginia's aligned.
Not much there for Jalen Warren. And it will be a 3 and out for Oklahoma State after a gain of a couple. Taj Alston made the stop.
It's a fantastic play by Alston. Watch left side of your screen, 12. You see how he gets that little punch to win on that inside against the offensive lineman, Woodard? That's a beautiful play by 12. Understanding when right away on that snap, use the physical punch to get internal pressure and to force this 4th down punt. What a start for the West Virginia defense.
An injury that could be impactful for how Oklahoma State likes to play offensively. They are helping Braden Cassidy, the tight end, off the field. He is not putting a lot of weight, it looks like, on the right leg.
That's a big deal for this offense who likes to play 2 tight ends on a consistent basis. Cassidy's a very important part to what they want to do.
End over end kick heading towards Malashevich, and he's going to let it float to the sideline, out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. .44-yard punt from Tom Hutton.
ESPN College Football is delivered by Papa John's. It's Bacon Mania at Papa John's with the new Triple Bacon Pizza. Order today. And in part by Cheez-It. Cheesy, crunchy satisfaction.
A la Iowa. A still newish tradition here at West Virginia. The team on their way into the stadium pregame. They all turn, face the Children's Hospital, and wave to all the patients and their families prior to games here at Mountaineer Field. 3-0 West Virginia with the early lead. Second time they've got the football. Lenny Brown right up the gut, and he's got 6 yards on first down.
That run play is kind of indicative of who West Virginia is. I mean, they are just going to run downhill in between those guards with Letty Brown, 220 pounds, coming right at you.
Here comes the blitz. Swing pass, Letty Brown. First down. Thrown out of bounds by Devin Harper, but he's got 6 more.
Yeah, I just love the decision from Dagey there, right? So you run the ball on first down, you get 5 or 6 yards. That's great. Now on second down, that short little throw when Oklahoma State pressures you, as long as you get that completion, first down conversion.
Play action. Under pressure. Here comes the pass rush for the Pokes. Dagey somehow stays alive and shovels one to TJ Banks that ends up incomplete, probably just as well. How did he not go down?
Watch the internal rush from Evers.
The quarterback's forward progress had been stopped. It's second down.
Duck underneath. He's lucky.
So they rule that a sack as Tyler Lacey got him around the ankles, and they rule forward progress stopped.
I think that's the right call. I mean, at some point, he's not going to advance the football any longer. Good coverage by Oklahoma State defensively.
So in the end, it is a 7-yard sack. Dagey, pump fake. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
This is where Jared Dagey and this West Virginia offense needs to be really smart, because these 3rd down situations for Oklahoma State and their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, I call it Star Wars. They're going to put a bunch of bodies on one side of the football. You got to honor it because those guys can pressure. And then you're going to get 3 or 4 guys from the opposite way, guys dropping all over the place. So handle the protection, and you got to have great eyes with who's dropping out underneath.
They'll rush 4. Dagey over the middle, high and incomplete. He had Sean Ryan. Ryan was open. Dagey missed a chance for a big 3rd down conversion, and it'll be a West Virginia punt.
Yeah, just a miss. Good protection. You're going to get 2 safeties drop back. In the middle of the field is where you want to hit this. And Dagey just sails it. The second time he's missed Ryan downfield. You really just want to drive that ball into that window and allow Sean Ryan to not only make that catch, but catch and run in the huge zone void.
Tyler Sumter, number 1 in the Big 12 at just a shade under 45 yards per punt so far this season. Brennan Presley deep to receive for the Pokes. The rush just about gets through, and the rugby-style kick barely gets away. And we'll roll down to the 32-yard line of Oklahoma State. 35-yard punt that was nearly blocked. Oklahoma State back to the offense when we come back at their own 32, but this close to making a big play on special teams.
Matt Berry in our studios with the college football update. It's still getting wild between Wake Forest and North Carolina. Sam Hartman and Jaquari Roberson makes it a 3-point game. However, Wake Forest did not get the onside kick. North Carolina ball.
That could be a heartbreaker and an end to the undefeated season for Wake Forest. Spencer Sanders rolls out to his right, heaves one to the sideline, and throws it away. That will be potentially a loss to one of those teams that's ahead of Oklahoma State in the college football playoff standings. Chris Button, having an OSU injury update.
Yeah, tight end Braden Cassidy has gone into the locker room. They were looking at his right foot ankle area. He walked off under his own power, but again, he's in the locker right now for further evaluations.
And on 2nd down and 10, no tight ends on the field right now for Oklahoma State. Sanders, 4 wide receivers, rifles one over the middle, and a sliding catch made by his favorite target, Tay Martin, and that's good for a 1st down.
Really good job by Sanders there. Getting to really number 4 in the progression, finding Martin on that deep in route. You saw him go 1, 2, 3, 4. We got some tight ends. This is how Oklahoma wants to play personnel-wise. Both tight ends now, Carter and Barr in the football game, and they even out the defense.
Tackle for loss, though, as Jalen Warren's got nowhere to go. Dante Stills number 3 in the Big 12 in sacks, number 1 in tackles for loss.
Yeah, another TFL for this defense. That's what they pride themselves on, is trying to win first down and get those tackle for loss. Stills the movement, the slant at the ball. That's what they want to do. Show you one picture as a front before the snap and change that picture on the offensive line at the snap with their movement.
4-man rush on 2nd and 13. They set up the screen. It's tipped by Stills, and I think he's got an interception. Dante Stills does it alone. The tip pick. And West Virginia starts in plus territory.
He really lines up to start this play as the defensive tackle. Now West Virginia's going to run a stunt. He's going to switch with Bartlett. There's Stills as the defensive tackle. Bartlett goes inside. Now he becomes an edge rusher. Just great vision on Spencer Sanders. Get your hand up, big fella, and go make that pick. What a spectacular play. Starting at defensive tackle, they get the stunt on the defensive line, and then he makes that interception on the screen pass.
And West Virginia is going to throw Garrett Green at Oklahoma State. He'll give it here, though, on the dive to Letty Brown. And Letty Brown's got 3.
You know, if I'm West Virginia right now, off of that turnover, I think I got the best offensive line in the Big 12, West Virginia. I agree with that. You got to lean on your run game here, okay? You got to really be consistent running the football and trying to wear out a dominant Oklahoma State defense.
Green lost the football. It's knocked away. Kicked inside the 40-yard line of West Virginia. And it looks like the Mountaineers have it back. A huge negative play, but Tony Mathis at least saves them possession. Jason Taylor knocked it free.
Trying to get Green on the perimeter. Watch Mathis come in and just save this play. Pure effort. Oklahoma State, slide on it. Don't try and scoop. Just get on your side and recover that fumble. But Tony Mathis comes from nowhere to save that. Now West Virginia just trying to secure the ball and get a punt on 4th down.
And Devin Harper was thinking scoop and score. It's a 26-yard loss. So here's Mathis as he'll just get what he can for the punt group.
I didn't like the 2nd down play call because you steal the turnover, right? Now's your opportunity to be patient, not try to win the game because you're trying to push the ball down. That's not your identity. And I wanted to really see 3 straight runs there, commit to those big fellas up front that, hey, we are going to win this game on the backs of the best offensive line in the Big 12, and I didn't like the decision to throw there.
That's arguably the best defense in the Big 12 out there as well. And for Oklahoma State, what a terrific job of dealing with sudden change. And their defense goes out there and just about all but erases the Stills interception. A booming punt from Sumter. Down inside the 5-yard line. Takes the sideways hop. And it will be downed at the 5 by West Virginia. A 50-yard punt from the #1 punter so far this season in the Big 12, Tyler Sumter. As we take a look at Oklahoma State's season so far. A great start. We have seen great starts from Oklahoma State of late. And you mentioned it, Dan. Is this finally the year that they'll take this 7-1 start? 3 ranked opponents that they have beaten. They lost, obviously, to Iowa State, but they have a resume that at least right now could be college football playoff worthy if they win out.
And I think that today is a huge day because their next 2 games are against programs that have fired their coaches in the last 3 weeks. So you win today, which is going to be a challenge. You are really looking at the end of the season playing Oklahoma at home for a monumentally big game.
Jalen Warren breaking tackles. That's a good gain on 1st down with the whole stadium here at Mountaineer Field coming down on top of that Pokes offense. He's got 8 on 1st down. Josh Chandler Samito made the stop.
Yeah, Warren's such a big part of this offense. Almost 1,000 yards from scrimmage. It's about 1/3 of their football team. He's downhill. You know, like to say, a back like Jalen Warren, he will find a crease or he will create it himself.
Warren again. Another good, hard, tackle-breaking run for a first down out to the 21-yard line. A gain of 8 more. Chris?
Bob, one of the things you notice when you watch Spencer Sanders is he plays with a ton of attitude and a ton of energy. His coaches just want him to channel it in the right way. On the sidelines, going up to everyone, being like, it's okay, we're getting the ball back, we're going to score right here.
He just went nuts when Warren ran through the safety from West Virginia in the background. You know, super excited because of the physicality by 7.
Nearing the end of the first quarter. Sanders off play action. Bullets one to a wide open receiver up the sideline. They just lost track of Tay Martin. And Martin is all the way out to the 39 with a gain of 18.
Well, look how close he is to the sideline. And they're really trying to play an invert coverage with the corner rolling over the top. Someone for West Virginia's got to get out underneath to the sideline to take that throw away.
Play action. Sanders rolls out. Scrambles. And he's out of bounds at the 44. He's got 5 more as Chandler Samito and Taj Alston bump him out. See if that takes us to the end of the quarter.
Something you'll hear me say a lot today, formation into the boundary. They'll put trips into the boundary, and so they create a lot of space in the field. That allowed Spencer Sanders to kind of be a playmaker in that situation.
End of the first quarter. Oklahoma State on the move, but West Virginia with the lead by 3 after 1. For a game that has only featured 1 field goal so far, we had plenty of momentum swings in the first 15 minutes.
Been a physical game to start. Both defenses are flying around. We're going to have a great one here in Morgantown.
You can get it. Tell me what you want and I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm not giving up. Come on, we got nothing left.
Could not ask for a nicer day to watch a football game here in Morgantown. We start the second quarter in a game that had multiple turnovers and momentum swings in the first 15 minutes. Oklahoma State with good field position near midfield after their defense did the job. Dante Stills had a tipped ball interception the last possession for West Virginia, and the Mountaineers started at the plus 40-yard line and got nothing out of it. Little option here. The keeper for Sanders. He's about 1.5 yards to 2 yards shy of a first down. And Chris, how about an injury update with Braden Cassidy?
He's out here on the sidelines right now, heavily taped right foot, ankle. He's been trying to run. Every time he tries, though, he ends up shaking his head. He's been out here for about 2 or 3 minutes just trying to see what he can do on that right foot.
The defensive lineman converted to tight ends. A big part of what they like to do schematically for Oklahoma State. Now 3rd down and short. Warren finds a cutback lane and gets the first down by 1 yard right to midfield, brought down by Lance Dixon.
Beautiful cut by Warren. You bring that motion over, he takes a guy out of the box, and then the zone read forces that edge defender to respect it. Creates a seam for their run game.
Sanders, traffic at his feet, down he goes. Boy, he held the ball for a long time, and Akeem Mesidor got home for a 10-yard sack.
You said it, Bob. He's holding the ball. He actually has Presley winning on in route, but watch Mesidor. Just a remarkable motor, spin around, fight through versus Woodard, and get Spencer Sanders on the ground. Mesidor is a guy that you will not watch anybody on this field today play harder. He is all out every single snap.
10-yard sack makes it 2nd down and 20. And they get about half of it back as Brennan Presley gets to midfield. So now it's 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, I really like that play by Presley there because he catches the ball in a soft spot of the zone. So often we see young players dance around and try to create. Catch and get vertical. That gets you an extra 3 or 4 yards. Big difference, 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 14.
Sanders sidearms one. Low for Tay Martin. And the officials, I don't see them saying that he did not come up with it. The entire West Virginia sideline is signaling incomplete. There's a flag down on the play as well. And it looks like they will say incomplete. And they're going to bring the ball back to the line of scrimmage.
Holding number 70. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
They may have ruled that Martin did make that catch, which now means that West Virginia will take the penalty.
There's Woodard, just another defensive line stunt. That's called an ET from West Virginia. The end goes inside first, Alston, and Woodard grabs him over with that left arm. That end going first and the tackle following forces a pass off from that offensive line. Woodard just a little late there.
Now, are they going to have replay say, let's take a look at whether or not Tay Martin did indeed make that catch?
Previous play of a completed pass is under further review.
See, because if you rule that incomplete, then it's 4th and 10. Then you decline the penalty and you get the football back. So that's why if I'm Mike Gundy, I certainly want them, or rather if I'm Neil Brown, I certainly want them to take another look and see if this is indeed a catch. We'll see when we come back. It is about to be West Virginia football, as while we were away, correctly so, replay stopped the game before we went to break to take a look at the Tay Martin would-be reception. And it was ruled incomplete. So wipe away the holding call, declined by West Virginia to make it 4th and 10. And Malashevich with a fair catch back inside his own 11-yard line. It will be 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers at their own 11. Taco Bell welcomes you to the Live Más Student Section of the Year contest. Use hashtag Student Section Sauce to get the committee's attention, and go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete.
You a cheesy gordita guy?
Look at me. What would you imagine?
Stupid question, right? Can I get 2 of them?
Am I a cheesy anything guy? The answer is yes. So 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers at their own 11. Dagey back in at quarterback, and he'll give one to Letty Brown. And he gets stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. You know, Dan, you talked about this during the week when you broke the game down on film, how good these two defenses can be schematically. It's just not the same old Big 12 where it's basketball on grass and each team's giving up 500 yards and who can just outscore the other.
When you got guys like Brock Martin make that kind of play, it helps. I think part of it, Bob, is, you know, tempo had become such a big deal in college football 10 years ago, and then defenses caught up to it. Well, offenses had to adjust, and so they've changed the way that they've gone about business, and now defenses have figured out, stop giving up so many explosive plays and force these teams to drive down the field and get completions on slant routes in contested coverage.
Sean Ryan had it knocked away by Jabbar Muhammad, and just like that, West Virginia faced with 3rd down and about 11 at their own 10-yard line.
3rd straight possession, though, for West Virginia that they've thrown the ball on 2nd down. That is not who you are. You're playing into the strength, into the hands of Oklahoma State defensively. And now you are asking Jarrett Dagey in this offensive line to protect against these pressures, see a bunch of different droppers, and that's the big thing for Dagey right here. See all these bodies up in the line of scrimmage? Martin walking all around. You got to find who's popping out in that zone window.
It is a 4-man rush. Dagey, swing pass from the goal line. And at the 15-yard line, TJ Banks is cut down. So it will be a 3-and-out for the Mountaineers. They'll have to kick it away.
And so what happens is you got to keep some bodies in protection. So you chip and and they hang in a little bit longer. And now there's a ton of people in coverage. And so Dagey's going, wait, no one's open. I only have 3 guys in the route. There's 7 guys in coverage for Oklahoma State defensively. And when you throw that check down, you got people to drive on with eyes on the football and chop Banks down. They got to be better on 2nd down, West Virginia.
Sumter gets away a wobbly kick. Presley will let it bounce, takes a sideways hop. And Oklahoma State's going to end up with great field position at their own 47-yard line after only a 38-yard punt.
Well, the story of the game so far is West Virginia's defense, and Dante Still is a big part of it. Watch how the big man goes in, then out to gain leverage on the center, Godlewski, and then he makes that play. And then some of the stunts, he goes first, Bartlett, the defensive end, goes inside. Now he gets on the tackle shed. Hand goes up in the air to create that interception. Really, the movement by this West Virginia defensive line, specifically Dante Stills, has been a big part early on in this football game.
His first career interception gave West Virginia the ball at the 40-yard line of Oklahoma State. They were not able to do anything with it. But this defense, number 3 in the Big 12 in sacks, number 4 in America in tackles for loss per game. There's the screen to Jalen Warren, and he spins for 9 yards.
We talked about Warren before and how he's been so productive for this offense. Really, it's how many different ways can they get the ball in his hands out in space to force West Virginia really to tackle well versus a dynamic back. Look at, you've got trips really to the top of the screen. Look at all the area you've now created in the challenge West Virginia. What are you going to do with that safety at the bottom?
Instead, they'll run it with Warren, and they'll run it to the boundary side, but he picks up a first down. 5 more down to the 39-yard line.
That's what they like to do, though. They put that formation in the boundary, single receiver. This has long been what Oklahoma State does. Julie Blackman days at wide receiver, and it forces the safety to the field. If he's down, you could still run towards that trips. You've created numbers up at the top of the screen. You've got such a numbers advantage in your run game because they've got to drop a safety, Mahone, to respect the one-on-one matchup.
Slingshot to the sideline. Climbing the ladder is Presley to pull it down at the 21-yard line. Picks up 18.
And now you can go play action pass there. Watch this route by Presley. Sell the crossing route, put your foot in the ground, and then break it back out. Good ball by Spencer Sanders, and Presley getting his feet down.
Sanders to throw again. Again to the sideline. This time it's Logan Carter, the tight end, that makes the catch for 2. Again, Braden Cassidy injured the right ankle, the number 1 tight end for Oklahoma State, and he gave it a shot. They heavily taped it. He came out, tried from the locker room to jog back and forth, but as Chris Button told you, had to go back to the locker room once again, so his afternoon may be complete. Sanders well protected, only a 3-man rush. Into traffic, tipped ball, incomplete. Looking for Tay Martin. And now it's going to be 3rd down in the red zone. Charles Woods there to break it up.
Big time coverage by Woods. This is the weakness of a middle field open defense. In between those hashes, you got to, it's sticky on that receiver by Woods. This is the best red zone defense in the Big 12. One of the reasons why they do such a good job of playing sticky in coverage. Their defensive line holds off on some of that run game. I'm looking for Presley here. He's done such a nice job. Slot at the top of the screen if I'm Spencer Sanders.
Tay Martin just out of your picture at the bottom of the screen. Sanders looking that way. Wide open. Logan Carter hurdles down inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line. Looks like he's going to be 2 yards shy of a first down, but got a couple of flags down in the backfield. Scotty Young made the stop on Logan Carter.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 10. Defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So Jared Bartlett roughs Spencer Sanders, and it's going to be goal to go now for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, he's at the top of the screen. Just edge rushes all the way on the outside. Ball's out for Spencer Sanders. That's the right call. Sophomore from Miami. He's too good of a player, too smart of a player to have that penalty on 3rd down when you have the chance to get off the field.
So 1st and goal just inside the 7. Fade route. Martin has it. Foot down. Touchdown. There is a flag down on the play, but Tay Martin, at least for now, with a highlight reel catch for the score.
They have enough people on the ball, Oklahoma State offensively. Just a fade. Watch him go up.
Offside.
Giving him
number
cookies.
3.
And the
Defense
strong
lined
hands.
up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
The ball pops out at the end.
Tay Martin makes the catch, though. 1 foot down.
Yep.
2 feet down. 3rd foot steps out of bounds, and then he loses the ball. That's a touchdown.
Yeah, totally. You see that little left arm shove off by Martin there, though, just to create a little bit of space. I mean, he's 6'3", long, kind of lanky body. Just that little left arm shove gets enough separation where he can go up and make that catch.
So Oklahoma State, they have won 6 in a row against West Virginia, including their last 3 trips to Morgantown. Off to a shaky start, but now they've got the lead. Tay Martin's 5th touchdown reception of the season to put them on top. This season, along with their contributions to universities' general scholarship funds for every field goal and extra point made, All-State will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thank you to All-State. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden back here at Mountaineer Field, where the Pokes now have the lead. 53 yards of offense on that last drive after only 58 yards of offense on their first 3 possessions. Winston Wright runs out of bounds at about the 19-yard line. Let's check in again with Matt.
Guys, I've got your Rocket Mortgage studio update. A lot of people picked Purdue as the trendy upset over Michigan State. Here, Aiden O'Connell to Brock Thompson for the touchdown. Right now, Boilermakers up 14-7 over Michigan State.
The House of Horrors for a top 10 team, West Lafayette. Right, you hear the numbers earlier today?
5 yards and we'll re-kick.
We've got a 5-yard penalty called offsides on the kickoff against Oklahoma State. So West Virginia has opted to force the Pokes to re-kick. So we'll see how much that changes. Yeah, see how much that changes field position. But the number of times that a top 10 team has gone to Purdue and lost. Ohio State got rolled by them
a couple years ago,
handful of years ago.
The Rondale Moore game.
And it's like Purdue has beaten 5 or 6 more top 10 teams at home than the next most number of times a top 10 team has lost at an unranked opponent.
You got to imagine Oklahoma State, and their fans are huge Purdue fans today.
No question.
Michigan State being ranked ahead of them, still some tough games to play as well. They'll take all the knockoffs they can get.
I think Cincinnati might be watching some of those games with interest as well. So let's see how much that 5-yard penalty impacts field position here, as Wright will bring it out from the end zone. And it turns out to be about a 1-yard difference in field position. Well, let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by All-State. Cincinnati, of course, sitting at number 6. And they've got a 14-3 lead over on ESPN2 right now against Tulsa. Later on tonight, Oregon and Washington will do battle on ABC. Of course, Alabama and LSU on ESPN. Dan, with Wake Forest going down as well, another team in the top 10 that is now out of the way for a team like Oklahoma State. Your thoughts on Cincinnati being at number 6 in the playoff rankings?
You know me, we've had Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is one of the 4 best teams in America. I love the perimeter screen.
Flag down as Sam James weaves his way out to the 26-yard line.
I think Cincinnati's one of the 4 best teams in America. I think Cincinnati's defense gives them the ability.
Defense, number 99. 10-yard penalty results in a first down.
The ability to go beat anyone in America. My issue with the College Football Playoff Committee now, and always has been, it is not their mission to pick the 4 best resumes or 4 best strength of schedules. Watch us see grab right here, 99, right in the middle of the screen. He grabs Frazier, the center, as he's trying to get out in that screen. Another great call by that officiating crew. It's the 4 best teams. Pick the 4 best teams, and that's why you got to watch every single snap.
A little turnaround to Sam James. 6 more yards for West Virginia. You know, this is the message I think the playoff committee sends when they put Cincinnati at number 6. That you can't, on your own merits, get to the college football playoff, right? Because you're undefeated. You have been dominant. You beat Notre Dame on the road. You beat Indiana on the road. Your resume is at least similar to some of the teams that are ranked ahead of you, or at least right around you. They need the perfect storm of losses of Power 5 teams to get there. As Letty Brown looking for room and not finding much. It'll make it 3rd down and 3. And that's the part that's hard, I think, for a Cincinnati fan to digest. That those other teams have so many resume building opportunities still out in front of them.
Right.
That the Ohio States and the Oregons and the Alabamas, they control their destiny.
Yeah,
Cincinnati does not control their destiny. They can win out, and if the right teams don't lose to the right teams around them or in front of them, they could also be left out.
But I mean, take for Oklahoma State, you know, if they win out, their resume might say X, but if you watch the games, you're going to go, that's one of the 4 best teams in America.
On 3rd down, Dagey in trouble. Down he goes. Tyler Lacey with the sack for the Pokes. That's a loss of 10, and it will be a West Virginia punt.
They're trying to get a slot screen up top. And there's Lacey. I don't know why Jarrett Dagey does not throw this football. The slot screen might score. They're trying to get that ball dumped off to Winston Wright. Watch, he's in the slot up top. I mean, that might be a touchdown. And I'm not sure why Jarrett Dagey does not make that throw. That is a perfect play call against that pop-out man coverage by their offensive coordinator, Gerard Parker. And that's a tough one because you're not going to get many opportunities against this defense.
43-yard punt. I think Oklahoma State is a fascinating team to talk about with the playoff. We'll do that in a moment. Kick off your Week 9 NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the app. Randy Moss weighs in on Odell Beckham Jr.'s situation. Then Monday Night Football as the Bears in Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, the ESPN app. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern as Mason Rudolph, the old Poke, makes his drive down from Pittsburgh to watch his team play here in Morgantown. Spencer Sanders back to work with a handoff to Jalen Warren. Flag down.
Holding, number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Watch the right guard, Hunter Woodard again, number 70. He's got to go reach block that nose tackle. Run your feet, run your feet, run your feet. And then tackles. Anytime that happens where you get a defensive lineman running one way and it looks like that offensive lineman tackles him, that's going to be a flag. I don't really see a hold there, but that's what those officials from that back angle are going to look at.
Screen on 1st and 20. Brennan Presley fights his way for about 7.5. Now, Dan, you talked about Oklahoma State, what their resume might look like, and if they ran the table, they control their destiny to get to the Big 12 championship game. If they beat Oklahoma in Bedlam, if they beat Oklahoma again in a title game. I mean, to me, that's the kind of scenario where I would be worried if I were Cincinnati about the teams that are behind me having those resume building opportunities that I don't have to leapfrog me and maybe make it to the playoff. Sanders, he's going to tuck it under and run. He's got slides about a yard short of the 1st down. Chris?
Well, talking to Tay Martin this week, he told me I didn't even watch the playoff ranking show because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what our ranking is right now. We know if we handle business, we think things are in our control.
Remains to be seen.
They also have social media. They know.
3rd down, about a yard and a half. Quick hitter. And Presley's got the 1st down. And more. A pickup of 13.
Just a big-time, soft slot cushion from this West Virginia defense. Good job by Presley, catch and run. Stay committed to your run game. The beauty and the simplicity of this offense. Stay committed. Now look at these safeties for West Virginia. 13, 14 yards deep, 2 of them. That means you got numbers in your run game, or kicking a slot pass out is the best thing for your offense. There you go.
Easy pitch and catch to the true freshman Blaine Green. Jackie Matthews brought him down, but it's a gain of 8.
It's the beauty and the simplicity of it, man. You put that 2x2 out there. Usually it's with their tight ends. But with the Cassidy injury, now it's a slot receiver, and you just force the defense. It's math. Hey, if you're going to play with those two safeties and no one's over that slot, we can just throw a 5-yard out, and it's an easy throw and catch for us.
How much of that is on Spencer Sanders from a run-pass option standpoint?
100%. Yeah, he's got to see it and just really make the proper decision consistently.
Flea flicker, back to Sanders. He's got room to run. He's just going to scramble to the sideline and get a first down. They wanted the deep shot off the flea flicker. It wasn't there. Alonzo Adai ran Sanders out, but he moves the chains.
Now watch the secondary for West Virginia. I actually think they do a good job of at least running towards Martin. And then here comes the pressure by for Spencer Sanders. He makes another really good decision. I think he could have been ultra aggressive without the pressure. But since that happens, that is the right play in that moment. Even though coach calls a shot play, do the right thing with the ball.
Quarterback keeper. Sanders takes a hard hit. He might have delivered as much of a blow as took it from Scotty Young. He's got 5 yards.
Now they take those tight ends and they put them at either edge. Now they pull away and he follows Barr. Yeah. There's him and Scotty Young. Scotty Young's no slouch, man. 210-pounder. But I think that matters for Spencer Sanders. I think he likes the contact. He's an emotional quarterback.
He's 9 of 11 here in the second quarter. As a passer, here's Warren getting to the sideline, inside the 20. Jalen Warren down to the 16-yard line with a first down. He's got 18 more.
Make something out of nothing. Watch the 2 cuts. One cut in the backfield. Oh, make the defender miss. Now another cut on that suck guy. That's a beautiful run by Warren. That should have been a 3-yard loss. Formation into the boundary. Look at the safety, Scotty Young at the top of the screen. And now you can commit to running the football into the boundary if you want.
Reverse. It's a flea flicker back to Sanders off the reverse. And he has to throw it away. Well, the coverage has not been fooled for West Virginia by the trick play chances for Oklahoma State. Coverage guys have stayed disciplined and stayed home.
And that's coaching. That's getting your guys ready. One-way action, reverse pass. Look at the communication by the safeties. Then they go plaster, force that throw away. That is the coaching from Jordan Leslie, the defensive coordinator, having his unit ready for all these potential trick plays and when they're going to get called. Really good communication on the back end.
9th play of the drive. Both teams have all their timeouts. Sanders, screen, Warren. And I would think you'd call a timeout, wouldn't you, if you're West Virginia? Try and save some time for your offense.
Yep.
I think they will.
West Virginia has called their first charge timeout. 30 seconds. 1 minute timeout. 1 minute timeout.
So Neil Brown does exactly that, calling a West Virginia timeout before 3rd down. Let's head back to the studio, check in with Matt.
All right, Bob, coming up in the Lexus halftime report, Baylor is in a fight with TCU for the Big 12 crowd. We'll show you those highlights. Plus, you might be able to call them the spoiler makers. Purdue and Michigan State and Wake and North Carolina, they may have just scored another touchdown. What a classic that was. Justin Palmer, Joey Galloway joining me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
That was arena football between Wake Forest and North Carolina.
Who can get to 61st?
Oh, my goodness. Like a pinball machine, those offensive numbers were going up in that game.
And this is a big 3rd down for this West Virginia football team. You know, the way, one, that your offense is playing against the best defense in the Big 12 in Oklahoma State, you really got to do everything you can to force this field goal attempt, because if you go down 14-3 against that defense, that is a tough hill to climb. Now, this is the best red zone defense in the Big 12, West Virginia's. Number 1, if you're Oklahoma State, we got to get 55 block, Dante Stills. I talked about this a little bit. I like trying to attack these front pylons, kind of that 10 to 12-yard area towards the perimeter of this defense.
Tay Martin and Brennan Presley both at the bottom of your screen in the slot. Presley in motion, jet sweep to him. And he is getting strung out to the sideline by that West Virginia defense. And now another timeout should be called by the Mountaineers, and there it is. Sean Mahone made the stop as they ruled Presley stopped with forward
West
progress in the
Virginia
field
has called
of
their
play.
second charge timeout of the first half. 30 seconds in length.
Watch how good this is. Really the perimeter defense from West Virginia. They're trying to get that jet sweep to Presley. Play with leverage. Play with leverage. Keep your outside shoulder free. Outside shoulder free. Outside shoulder free. And then converge on the football. Beautiful job by Porter. Because when you do that as a defense, all your guys are running, right? Everybody's running to the football. You got to force that ball back inside Porter, knife, and then you got buddies coming. Mahone finishes it off. But it's because they out-leveraged the football. That is really good. That whole series by West Virginia defensively, great discipline. I did not love the play call. You know, I think you're conceding the 3 points there. I think you trust Spencer Sanders in that situation, specifically with his legs, if nothing's there, to go try and make a play. I would have tried to get the ball on the perimeter in the pass game.
Tanner Brown has been the place kicker for the last 4 weeks for Oklahoma State. This one from 34. And he's got it. So he is now 7 of 9 on the season, and it is a full touchdown lead for Oklahoma State, as we have time now for our Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
Here's a good one if you're an Oklahoma State fan.
I got last week.
You have no chance to get this. Oklahoma State ranked 11th in the first college football playoff poll. Who's the lowest ranked team in the initial poll,
guys,
to then make the playoff? It's a layup?
Yeah.
You've got this?
Home run.
Hip pocket.
Home run.
All right. Let's see. Are you going to announce it now or wait until the answer appears on the screen to let everybody know that you know?
I'm going to give the people at home a chance to Google it, and so they feel better about it. But I greased this answer. And I think if you're West Virginia offensively, number one, the goal is this. Start with a completion. You call a play for Jarrett Dagey to get a completion. And then number two, you got to try and get some chunks. Okay, you still have a timeout left. He's got to make really good decisions. Be convicted with your eyes, but you try to go get some points here at the end of this half.
Well, they've only got 50 yards of total offense. They've got 3 and out on their last 3 possessions. Alashevich from the goal line. Just shy of the 25-yard line, he's brought down. So 1:05 to go in the first half. 1 timeout. And the answer to our Aflac trivia question. All right, don't put it on the screen yet, guys. Go.
I'm going to say Ohio State, Cardale Patterson's year.
All right, let's see. Oklahoma State.
Jones, excuse me.
11th in the initial poll. Ohio State ranked 16th back in 2014.
Come on.
Good job. High fives. Didn't know the name of the quarterback.
Yeah, it's Cardale Jones. Cordell Patterson plays
you got
really
the
good
answer
for the Falcons.
We didn't ask you the name of the quarterback. We asked you the name of the team, and you got that.
I got it right.
Well done. How many weeks have we been doing this now? 10? Dan's 1 for 10. Right up the gut goes Letty Brown. That's a good start to this drive for West Virginia as he picks up 15 yards, and that stops the clock for the moment. Letty Brown only had 6 yards on 6 attempts before that carry.
This is a waste of time right now.
They need to throw. Under pressure from both sides, and down he goes. Would you call a timeout now if you're Oklahoma State? Brock Martin came through along with Colin Oliver.
I would not if I was Oklahoma State after that sack. And if you're Jarrett Dagey right here, if you're throwing the ball, you got to make a really good decision.
3-man rush. Dagey out of the pocket. And now would you call a timeout? 3rd down and 14. And it does not look like Oklahoma State's going to use their timeouts to put the pressure on West Virginia. So if you're West Virginia, probably just take this to the locker room, and they will.
Such an odd series, though. When you get that 1st down run, that's a huge chunk. And then it seems like you can't get in the right formation. That means like there's no plan set up from the sideline.
Disappointing first half offensively for West Virginia. Mike Gundy's team with a 7-point lead. Matt Barry, Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer. They're coming up with the Lexus halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Papa John's and the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Just about set for the start of the 3rd quarter. A touchdown separates Oklahoma State, West Virginia. Bob Wischusen and Dan Orlovsky Chris Budden is with us as well. West Virginia's offense, they ran into a buzzsaw. This Oklahoma's defense is as advertised.
Yeah, they've played fantastic. For West Virginia, I'd say two things. You're going to have to figure out a way to create a takeaway, force some form of a turnover, and then an explosive play on offense, because right now you have no rhythm. You haven't converted a third down. Oklahoma State defensively, to your point, has been absolutely lights out. I also think their offense needs to be a little bit better in the red zone to try to convert some of their opportunities, but this is a huge, huge possession to start this second half.
And from the 10-yard line, Presley gets to the sideline, cuts it back at the 30, breaks a tackle. Good field position for Oklahoma State to start off the third quarter as we check out our first half stats. Brought to you by PlayStation. Boy, 63 yards of passing offense, 61 yards of total offense for West Virginia. To your point about the Oklahoma State defense.
The -2 rush yards is the thing that pops out to me. You get to 0-6 on third down because of it. Oklahoma State 4 sacks. But this is a really good offensive line for West Virginia, one that for the past 2 weeks has played really good football. They got to get Letty Brown going. And this Oklahoma State defense just should continue to try and attack Jarrett Doege in the pass game.
Quarterback keeper for Spencer Sanders, bottled up, and he may get back to the line of scrimmage. Jackie Matthews was there to make the stop. Chris Budden, a chance to talk to both coaches?
Yeah, the stat that popped to Mike Gundy was the penalties. 5 penalties for 35 yards. He said, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We have to give our offense a chance to function properly without the penalties. He likes what they're doing on defense. For Neil Brown, he told his team, listen, defense has been great, but offensively, our O-line is getting consumed, and we have to figure out a way for Letty Brown to give him some room to run.
And they had established nothing really on the ground in the first half. Of course, there was that big negative play on the strip sack when Doege became a runner.
Correct.
27-yard loss, if I remember right. That went against their rush yards statistically. That might tilt things a bit, but look, Letty Brown's got 7 carries for 21 yards. They do force third down here to start off in the third quarter, though. Third down and 6. Sanders out of the pocket. Heaves one to the sideline, throws it away. So West Virginia starts off the third quarter with a defensive stop.
Really just this defensive line for West Virginia doing another one of those stunts that's really giving them the chance to at least confuse the Oklahoma State offensive line. So West Virginia, if you're in halftime and you're Neil Brown, you're saying, defense, we got to get a stop. We got to get something of momentum and get the ball back to our offense. Now it's the offense's turn to take advantage of it.
Trying to set up a return from Malashevich. And he's got nowhere to go. Bottled up along the sideline. Knocked out of bounds at about the 17-yard line after a 42-yard punt. The college basketball season tips off Tuesday. What a lineup we have for you on ESPN. The women's matchup of the day at 5 Eastern. Number 1, South Carolina. Number 5, NC State. Then number 3, Kansas squares off against Michigan State, followed by the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Then we cap the night with the second Champions Classic matchup. Number 11, Kentucky takes on number 9, Duke. Everything available on the ESPN app. One tap, one app. Swing pass. Nice forward Wheaton. Tracked to the sideline. Brought down inbounds. Lost a yard. Jason Taylor out there to bring down Wheaton.
It's a great play by Taylor coming downhill. Starting in the middle of the field, and they kick it out to Bryce Ford Wheaton, and he just, with the proper angle, tracks him down. This is where West Virginia's really struggled on this second down situation. They've been decent in some perimeter screens. I think a quick game, something quick to try to get a completion with the yards after the catch can help this offense.
Shovel pass. Sam James, nowhere to go. Boy, there are just no holes in this Oklahoma State defense. Another tackle for loss. They lose 2 more. Now it's third down and 13 as Malcolm Rodriguez was there.
And I'll be honest, these are 2 good plays to come out of the half, but watch Rodriguez, the All-American. Watch how he diagnoses so quickly. I play outside, now go to the ball. I mean, that is all you need out of him is one step down inside, and you've got the perimeter. But he hangs and then goes hunts.
Eddie Brown empties the backfield. Four-man rush. Dagey to the sideline, turning upfield with a first down. Reese Smith makes his first catch. What a big third down conversion that is for West Virginia.
Watch this, okay? Watch the patience of the route between the number 2 and number 3 receiver. James goes in, he breaks out after him. That causes just a little hesitation by the Oklahoma State defense, and he's able to out-leverage on the out route. Great patience on the route.
Eddie Brown. 2 yards. Harvell Peel was there first for Oklahoma State. Colby Harvell Peel, 2019, first team All Big 12. Last year, second team All Big 12. Number 4 active player in FBS with 10 career interceptions. He is a difference maker.
He's their energy guy. Yeah, he is their energy guy.
Tony Mathis in the game. He goes right up the middle. And it looks to be good enough for a first down. Jarrett Bernard Converse made the stop. That's a 10-yard gain for Tony Mathis.
What a great double team by Frazier and Gummiter, the left guard in the center.
Up tempo. Mathis again. Breaks a tackle. Boy, what a good job of turning nothing into something. Harvell Peel was there first, and Mathis ends up picking up 3.
Making the secondary right now for Oklahoma State come up and make tackles. At some point, the play action pass will come into play.
There is the play action. Dagey. Pocket collapses, and he is going to go down again. The delayed blitz brings down Dagey as Devin Harper gets the sack. And now we got a couple of West Virginia Mountaineers slow to get up, including Brandon Yates, the left tackle.
He's got Sam James. This is just a crosser route. Flash fake, safety stays in the midfield. 1-2, put the ball out to space. Another huge missed opportunity. It's the perfect timing of the play call by Parker, the offensive coordinator. You see that safety bail on the post, just throw that crosser to space, and that's a 40-yard gain.
Instead, after the 5th Cowboys sack, it is 3rd and 13. Only a 3-man rush. Dagey with time. No one open downfield. And he scrambles forward for about 4 or 5 yards, met by Devin Harper. And the Mountaineers will have to punt.
You could see the frustration from Dagey. You know, you had a promising drive, such a huge 3rd down conversion earlier in that drive. You take the shot on 2nd down and you just don't see it. And I don't think he sees it on 3rd down. I think he's got Sam James on the crosser again. Missed opportunities so far for this West Virginia offense is the story of this afternoon.
Tyler Sumter angles a punt to the far right sideline. And it takes a good West Virginia roll. And they will down it at the 1-yard line. Sometimes a play on special teams can flip a game. The West Virginia defense will now have an opportunity to go out there with Oklahoma State backed up inside their own 2 after a 54-yard punt.
Now, I'd say the big thing for West Virginia defensively, and they've done a great job this afternoon, the past couple games has been a struggle, is keep the ball in front of you right now. You know, force Oklahoma State to go 99 yards on your defense that has played great. Don't give them any chunk or ball over your head in their pass game. Force them to be methodical on this drive.
They'll run it with Warren. He gets out of the end zone. Leaps out to about the 5. Picks up 3.5.
That was a great run because I thought it was a safety. You got internal pressure from the defensive line. Watch the left side of the screen. Just great push. The corner knifes in. He goes over the top. Man, that's the 2nd or 3rd time that we've seen Warren make a great run, negative into positive.
Tay Martin makes the catch. He is right at the 1st down line to gain with late flags thrown. He's got the first down. We'll have to check the penalty marker.
They're going to get Jackie Matthews late.
After the play is over, personal foul, late hit, number 3. Defense. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
That's a killer
Oklahoma
for
State.
West Virginia. What a big field position help that is to Oklahoma State.
Watch Matthews come in here, number 3. That's an absolutely awful call by the officiating crew. That is not a late hit. Come on. That's not a late hit.
It wasn't much of a hit to begin with.
Not a late hit. That's a huge penalty on this defense. Had one in the red zone before, and now this one.
So they go from just outside the 1-yard line all the way out to the 27. Sanders on a rollout, looking downfield. He's going to heave one for Tay Martin. Incomplete. Martin got held up as he tried to double move Alonzo Adat.
Yeah, they're trying to go bootleg that way, and oftentimes it's a comeback. Now they go with Martin, come back, and try to double move over the top, and Adai just hangs and plays over the top and forces that incompletion. That's a really good job by the 5th-year senior. I love the shot to Martin, and I like the throw by Spencer Sanders trying to take the opportunity downfield.
The play clocks are functioning here in the stadium, but all of the scoreboard clocks have disappeared. Our clock on the screen correct as Sanders goes back. Rifles one over the middle. It is bobbled and dropped. Right in the hands of normally the very sure-handed Brennan Presley. But he drops what could have been a run after the catch, first down and more.
Watch it. He lets it get to his body, though. This is a rip by Sanders in the window. Gets to your body and it bounces off. That's an uncharacteristic drop for him.
The play clocks are functioning. So the teams do know, as the play clock winds down here in the stadium, how much time they have to get the snap off, but they've got no other information up on the board at all in terms of the game clocks. Sanders, throwback screen. Martin, bottled up, nowhere to go. Read beautifully by Scotty Young. And it is 4th down.
Just a one-step screen to Martin. Watch the top of the screen now. Here comes Scotty Young. He's at the linebacker level, steps down, and then he comes, knifes. Martin knows how big of a play that was for that defense. The penalty does not end up hurting that defense, which is big. And Martin kind of took a shot right on the top of that knee.
Malashevich bobbled the football. It's loose. He took a peek, trying to set up a return. It went right off his chest plate, and Oklahoma State has it. Grayson Malashevich
ruling on the
punt.
field as the ball was touched by the receiving team player, but then recovered by the kicking team. First down, Oklahoma State.
Corey Black comes up with the fumble recovery.
Goes right off his face mask. Such a great special teams play on the punt before for West Virginia. Full Pat McAfee style. Now Malashevich takes it off the face mask, and Oklahoma State's got a huge, huge opportunity.
So Oklahoma State gets a gift and a first down at the West Virginia 26-yard line.
Now West Virginia, it's sudden change. Okay, defense, it's time to go back out and play good football.
Jalen Warren. Breaking tackles, still on his feet. What a 9-yard run that is for Jalen Warren.
Just the balance through the hole. You know, there's so many times that he's getting hit on the lower half or an arm tackle, and he's just got this really good lateral balance through contact that's allowing some of these runs.
Over his last 6 games, Jalen Warren is averaging 134 yards per game. As now Charles Woods is down on one knee, and he's limping off the field.
Watch this run. Just look at the contact balance through holes. You know, just strong lower half, strong legs. It's a good run by Warren.
We have an injured player and a timeout here in Morgantown. Plenty more football to come on this college football Saturday. Our featured rivalry game tonight, LSU. They'd love an upset against number 2 Alabama in Tuscaloosa. 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app. One tap. 10-3. Oklahoma State has the lead on West Virginia. Low scoring game here in Morgantown. And after the Malashevich muffed punt, golden opportunity for the Cowboys. Jalen Warren on 2nd down and short. Right at the 1st down line to gain. Dante Stills with another tackle. He might be just a shade short. It's going to be 3rd down and less than 1. And we have another injured West Virginia defender. That's Lance Dixon, the Will linebacker. So 1 snap after Charles Woods leaves the field with an injury. Now Lance Dixon is down.
ESPN College Football, delivered by Papa John's, is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Five numbers have now been retired in West Virginia history. Major Harris was the 5th as he was honored at the end of the 1st quarter. Hall of Fame inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2009. I'm a Boston College guy. Late 80s, go to BC.
Probably a big fan
when
of
Major Harris played, and I was one of many fan bases
who hated him at the time.
That just gets the shakes when you start to think about Major Harris and how impossible he was to bring down. So after the injury timeout, 3rd down, less than a yard. Oklahoma State with Warren. He got the 1st down easily. Sean Mahone might have saved a touchdown, but that's a gain of 5. So the injuries piling up a bit for the West Virginia defense. Without Nick Fortune, arguably their best corner for the rest of the season. He was injured a couple of weeks ago. Now Charles Woods was able to get back on the field after missing a play, but Lance Dixon injured for the 2nd time today as well. 1st and 10 at the 12. Lob pass. Tay Martin, back right corner. He's got it. Touchdown. Spencer Sanders right down the chimney to Tay Martin for the Oklahoma State score.
Watch the end here. There's that little left arm by Martin again. Yep, that's good on Sundays. Gets 2 down.
Why not go back to it?
Yep.
Because that's the 2nd time it's worked. Tay Martin with 6 catches for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns, both in that same back right corner. And the muffed punt turnover costs the Mountaineers 7. It is now a full 2 touchdown lead for Oklahoma State with 5.5 to go in the 3rd.
What a beautiful route by Martin. Sells inside, little left arm push. Great throw by Spencer Sanders.
UFC 268 tonight from the Garden. 2 title fights, rematches. They highlight an absolutely stacked card. The prelims are on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus, starting at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, followed by the main card on pay-per-view. To order in English and Spanish, go to espnplus.com/PPV. West Virginia about to get the football back, now in a 2 touchdown hole. Winston Wright runs it out. He'll get bumped out at about the 23. Well, Chris Budden, 2 touchdowns for Tay Martin. You feel good for him.
Yeah,
He's had a lot of tragedy in his life.
Yeah, and it took him a while to really get a feel for the Oklahoma State offense. He came here from Washington State and said, listen, I have to know 5 plays basically under the Mike Leach air raid, and then I come here and I have to learn all new terminology, a playbook. Casey Dunn even said every Friday he would give them a written test. It took until December last year for him to be able to pass. He said now he's always in the 90s, but that's why it wasn't until December last year that he really started to catch on to this offense.
And this is a young man that lost his mom when she was 34 years old to cardiac arrest. As Dagey is going to be sacked again back inside the 20 at about the 17-yard line. And Tay Martin also, he was the road roommate when he was at Washington State of Tyler Herlinsky, who of course took his own life. So really close with Tyler Herlinsky. Lost his mom when he was a teenager. And that is a lot for a guy to overcome. And Chris, he has overcome it.
Yeah, he told me that one of the things that he learned from Herlinsky's passing was just that he has to be the guy that checks on his teammates. You have groups in a locker room, and sometimes you don't always know what everyone's going through. So he made it a point to check on each guy to say, are you okay?
Dagey, flag down, has to throw that one away again. That time, Jaden Jernigan was all over him.
The Tay Martin story turned tragedy.
Holding number 64. Offense. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Turned tragedy into beauty almost. A test into a testimony. I also think it's one of those things that football has been kind of the vehicle of healing in many ways for him. It's probably taught him so much of how to handle situations, and it's brought people into his life that have become in many ways family. And I think he's a tremendously impressive young man.
Boy, this impressive pass rush just keeps on peppering Jared Dagey. Another sack, this one for Brock Martin. That's number 7 for the Oklahoma State defensive front. West Virginia just can't block them.
Obvious passing situations. When you got a defensive line like this that has got premier pass rushers, 3-man rush, you can get after offensive linemen. And you could see it by the energy by Tyler Lacey. But I would say this, Bob. Jared Dagey right now is just not seeing the field. Had a guy open on 1st down, had a guy open on 2nd down, had a guy open on 3rd down. Did not throw the ball to either of those guys.
Brennan Presley with a fair catch. There have been missed opportunities in this game for West Virginia.
Go down to the 3rd down early on when they got it to empty and they got a slot screen. 1, you got to trust the receiver's going to come back, and 2, you got to trust those offensive linemen are going to get out. That is a touchdown. With the speed of Winston Wright, he's going to go down the middle field. Missed opportunity. Now you get the play action pass. That safety stays in the middle field. Just throw that crosser to space against man coverage. That might be another touchdown. I sent the videos to you guys this week. Jared Dagey struggles to see the field at times. And that's really been the story pass game-wise today for this Mountaineer offense, is he just is not seeing the open receiver.
Quick wide receiver screen to Presley. Presley gets 6 yards on 1st down. Now, Brennan Presley's one of those mid-major guys. He was offered by New Mexico State, Air Force, Memphis, North Texas, Arkansas State. Those were the schools he thought he was going to have to choose from. Then Oklahoma State came calling, and it has certainly worked out for both. He very much belongs in this offense.
One-on-one again at the bottom of the screen with Martin.
That's where they look. Tay Martin makes the catch. Can't get away from the one-on-one tackle of Darrell Porter, but easily picks up a 1st down.
I think the Oklahoma State offense has started to throw the ball a little bit more in the past couple weeks because their receivers have finally gotten healthy. Presley, one of them. You got the slot, you got numbers.
Long throw, climbing the ladder, and pulling it down is Bryson Green. So both of the Green twins have catches in this game. Bryson with his first. Blaine Green had a catch in the 1st half.
How about the extension on that one, though? Porter kind of plays in between underneath, and Spencer Sanders fires that ball. And Bryson Green fully extends to make that catch. This seems like a drive that Oklahoma State is going to go, we're going to end the game right here. You know, they're coming out aggressive, throwing the ball 3 straight plays. They want to be aggressive to see if they can get a 3-score lead.
There's the slam. And unable to pull it in with one hand was Bryson Green. He thought he was interfered with. And Mike Gundy is letting the officials hear it from the sideline. I think he thought the same as Charles Woods was one-on-one with Bryson Green.
He's probably got reason to complain. There was some physicality when the ball was here. You could see the hold right there. I thought Bryson Green got held. 3rd and 3, you know, Tay Martin has been so unstoppable today. Bottom of our screen, if you give him one-on-one, that ball is going to go up in the air to him.
Feels like a must for the West Virginia defense, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
They're going to run it with Desmond Jackson, but flags down at the snap. It'll be a false start. That'll change things.
Prior to snap, false start, number 67, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Now it's 3rd down and 8, and from here you don't even think Oklahoma State is in field goal range.
Cole Birmingham, the left tackle. Just a quick move, yep, that step out. All right, so the 3rd down situation for West Virginia has often been quarters coverage. Everybody's got a quarter of the field. As a quarterback, you work inside out, middle of the field to the perimeter. You see pressure coming, you're thinking man-to-man right now. Here comes all-out pressure. Find the matchup that you love, Martin to Presley.
West Virginia changes up that front. Here comes the blitz. Incomplete, intended for Presley. So how big does that 5-yard penalty loom now as well? Now it's 4th and 8. From here, you're looking at about a 55-yard field goal or so. I would think they would probably punt, but that's the difference between a 2-score lead and a 3-score lead.
Correct.
West Virginia getting off the field on defense here.
No, that penalty, West Virginia's defense has showed up today. I understand that Oklahoma State is offensively not what they have been in the past, but they have shown up today and given this football team a chance to win the game. It'll be interesting if Neil Brown decides, you know what, we're struggling on offense. We're going to turn the ball over to Garrett Green a little bit, see if we can get some athleticism on the field.
And now the clock winds all the way down. So this will be delay of
Delay
game.
game. Offense, that penalty's declined. 4th down.
So Oklahoma State was trying to give Tom Hutton a little bit more room. The 31-year-old junior, Australian rules football player. Just another product of the Pro Kick Australia program. And he'll try and angle one. Milishevich will let it fly behind him. And it is caught on a fly inside the 5-yard line at about the 3. Perfectly executed, and it's Presley down there to make the catch.
What a great punt. We've seen some good punts today. The house that Pat McAfee built, the punters have shown up. They've kind of been the story of the game so far. All right, West Virginia offensively, you got to get something going. You have been shut down by this Oklahoma State defense. -3 rush yards. I still think you treat this possession like you are down 1 possession. You can't get 2 back at the same time.
Toss to Tony Mathis. Spins out of the end zone. He's got a yard.
You know, West Virginia hasn't had a ton of success running the football in anything today offensively, but running the football, certainly not on the perimeter. They've hit some runs up the center. Backed up where I am right now, this ball's not going to the perimeter in the run game. I'm trying to run the ball behind Frazier, Gummeter, Nestor, see if we can get a little bit of push.
This again. It'll be another 3rd down for West Virginia. They are 1 for 9 on 3rd down against a defense that last year was #1 in FBS against the opponent on 3rd down. This year, #3 in America on 3rd down.
If I'm West Virginia, I'm doing 2 things right now. I'm trying to get information if the coverage is going to be man. If it's man, I'm throwing a perimeter screen. If it is zone and you're in that empty set, so you're going to try to figure out who's covering who. If it's zone, you work the middle of the field. There has been opportunities to throw the ball in the middle of the field. Looks like you're going to get man-to-man coverage.
One deep safety. Dagey from the goal line to the sideline. The catch is made, but it looks to be short. Reese Smith has it, but he's a yard short of the first down, and West Virginia will have to punt.
See, they should hustle up to the
Ruling
line
on
of
the
scrimmage
field
right now.
is a completed pass short of the first down line, 4th down.
And that's one of those situations, as the receiver, you got to know, Reese Smith, hey, my route may say that I've got a 5-yard out route here, but it's 3rd and 6. I got to get to my depth. And the quarterback's got to know he's got to go an extra step deeper, and Reese Smith's got to be aware, I have to push this a yard further, because a catch, given what the rules of the play is, are not going to get us a first down. I got to push that a yard further.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
They tried to take the clock all the way down to the end of the quarter, but the game clock was about a second or two ahead of the play clock. So it looks like the punt unit was just looking at the game clock and didn't realize they could let the clock completely expire. It's a delay of game with 2 seconds to go in the third.
And you got to be great in protection here, because Oklahoma State knows your protection plan with punt. You got to be great here to get this ball off.
Sumter gets it away. And a fair catch at the West Virginia 45 by Brennan Presley. A 38-yard punt. 2-touchdown lead as we head to the 4th quarter. Both of the touchdowns for the Pokes scored on the combination of Spencer Sanders to Tay Martin. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Papa John's. We start the 4th quarter here at West Virginia. 2-touchdown lead for an Oklahoma State team that controls their destiny to reach the Big 12 championship game. They've got their highest college football playoff ranking in the last 5 years, tied with. And if they get to 8-1, it would be their best start since 2015. Although we have seen this Oklahoma State team get off to great starts, even 10 weeks into the season. 6 out of the last 8 years get to the point where they were undefeated and unable to finish off. Sanders on a rollout to start the 4th quarter. He's going to tuck it under and gets to the sideline. Wrestled out at the 41-yard line by Chandler Semeda. So, as you said when we started the game today, Dan,
sure,
is this the year that Oklahoma State finishes off a great start? You can see going back to 2013, 6 examples where they did not.
I would say 2 things, at least to me, stand out differently with this Oklahoma State team than the ones of these pasts. The balance on offense, much more of a balanced offensive football team. I'm just telling you, we've seen a lot of good defenses this year. This defense is absolutely lights out in Stillwater.
3rd down and 6 for their offense here. Slant, complete, caught by Jaden Bray. Breaking free. The freshman all the way down inside the 15-yard line. We were told by the coaches number 85 might show up. He just did.
There's the formation in the boundary, one-on-one, bottom of the screen. You got all that space for that slant route right there. You create it with putting all those, I talked about it all game. You put all those bodies into the boundary, and then you create that one-on-one pass concept, that pass route, and you create all that room for the slant route.
They'll hand it to Warren here. Right up the middle into the end zone for a touchdown. An exclamation point, you would think, for Oklahoma State. 13-yard blast into the end zone for Jalen Warren.
You get the big completion on 3rd down. Well, let's watch Cole Birmingham. Front side, run game, good. Backside run game, great. Watch him step down. Now peel back. That's how that seam happens. See the little window that gets opened up for Warren? That is a great job by Birmingham of stepping with that zone and then being great on the backside, shutting it down. Big time crease for 7.
Also emphasizes the importance of field position. That's 3 straight drives where Oklahoma State has started in plus territory, and 2 of those 3 turn into touchdowns. to blow this game open. Our featured rivalry game tonight in the SEC is LSU Alabama, 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app. One app, one tap, number 2 at home against the Bayou Bengals. And if Alabama runs the table, gets to the SEC championship game, Georgia runs the table and gets there as well. You wonder if both might not end up in the playoff regardless of the outcome of that game, as Winston Wright looking for some room, not finding much. Dives to the 23-yard line. Matt Barry, what's going on?
Hey guys, back and forth game. Purdue, Michigan State tied at 21. King DeRue gets in for the Boilermakers. They're up 28-21 midway through the third quarter. Also developing situation in Fort Worth. Chandler Morris to Dominic DeRuzio. Frogs up 9 on Baylor, 23-14.
So Baylor only a one-loss team. West Virginia, you can see how much they have struggled on offense against maybe the best defense, Dan, we've seen so far this year for Oklahoma State. Lenny Brown once again nowhere to go. Brock Martin builds a wall at the line of scrimmage.
When you are a team offensively that you are unapologetically scheme-wise going, we're going to run the football, and a team defensively comes out and goes, no, you're not, you're handcuffed. And that's what Oklahoma State and Brock Martin have done today, is they have just shut down any attempt run game-wise, and it's forced this one-dimensional offense for West Virginia.
The screen, the ball pops out. I think they're going to rule that a catch and a fumble, but West Virginia is able to recover. Sam James lost it. Reese Smith recovered it.
Sam James on the perimeter screen here. Just look at the population. All the bodies that are getting to the football for Oklahoma State. Good job by Reese Smith picking it up. You know, when you're playing a great defense and you are an offense that, you know, isn't dynamic, you got to be perfect. You got to take advantage of every opportunity, and that's where West Virginia has struggled mightily today.
Ball thrown well behind Bryce Ford Wheaton. And Jared Dagey, you know what? You've been sacked 7 times and hit a bunch more, and it's 3rd down and 12. He just doesn't look like himself.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't gotten any rhythm offensively. Too many obvious passing situations. He's very much so struggled to see the field, being on the same page with his receivers, throwing with anticipation, being accurate with the football. There's a multitude of laundry list items struggle-wise when it comes for this offense.
Fair catch for Brennan Presley. 11:49 to go in the 4th quarter. If you wanted to make a statement as the number 11 team in the playoff standings, Oklahoma State has done it so far.
ESPN College Football is delivered by Papa John's. It's Bacon Mania at Papa John's with the new Triple Bacon Pizza. Order today. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Bryce Ford Wheaton, part of a long lineage of West Virginia history. His grandfather, Garrett Ford Sr., played here, also was part of the administration. His uncle also played here. When I was talking to him earlier this week, he said he had so many memories of just being on campus that when his dad or when his grandfather was in the administration, he would be running around the practice field, remembers coming to games, watching Pat White and cheering on the Mountaineers, and just a little cutie watching the games, guys. Look at those smiles and the shoulder badge.
That is $1 million smile. And how about being able to say that your grandfather was the first running back at West Virginia to run for 1,000 yards in a season or 2,000 yards in a career. He's in the West Virginia Hall of Fame, and now you're carrying on the legacy playing for the Mountaineers as well. That's pretty cool.
That's a cool story, man.
Now Oklahoma State content to work on the clock with this big lead. They'll keep it on the ground with Desmond Jackson. And he's about 1.5 yards shy of the first down, picked up 3.
Warren comes back in, taking some of the speed off the field wide receiver wise. Here comes these tight ends. 3 bigs on the field tight end wise. And now what you can do is almost like the Tay Martin touchdown. Like, you got one-on-one at the top of the screen if you want it, or you can pound the football behind your offensive line.
Give it to Jalen Warren. And he is brought down short of the line to gain. So it'll be 4th down and 1.
I think you punt this. I mean, there's no reason to give West Virginia any form of momentum. Your punter's had a great afternoon. If he hits the ball anywhere remotely close to out as good as he can, you're forcing them to go 85+ yards.
And your defense, to this point in the game, has allowed 81 yards of offense.
That good?
Why would you not just trust them to go out there and do it again?
Make them go farther in one drive than they have all game.
So Hutton, the intentional end-over-end kick. Well done. Malashevich with a fair catch at the 11-yard line with 9:40 to go.
Let's watch the best defense in the Big 12 go to work. You put guys up in the line of scrimmage. Rodriguez on one side, Harper on the other. Now I got Lacey one-on-one with the tackle. That wins when your quarterback holds the football too long. Stress off the perimeter. Those great premier pass rushers. One beats the tackle, one beats the tailback. Quarterback again, if you don't get the ball out of your hands, they're coming. You try to chip them, that hurts. Milam at right tackle, there's another party at the quarterback. This defense has been as advertised, plus some.
If you're the playoff committee and you are watching this kind of performance on the road against a team that started to feel like they were finding themselves a little bit in West Virginia, what would you take out of this?
Well, that when your defense is going to do something it hasn't done in maybe a decade, which is allow less than 139 yards, you're sitting there going, all right, defensively, they can go play with anybody. When we talked about best teams, they have one of the best defenses that we are going to see in college football. And we've talked about this, Bob. I understand Georgia's got the greatest defense in the history of college football, right? You and I have had teams this year. Cincinnati, really good defense. I think Oklahoma State defense is better. I think because of their edge rushers, they're better. We had Wisconsin last week, who statistically is the number 2 defense in America. This team stacks up with it. So I think the committee, you just have to sit there and go, this defense, body of work, as good as anybody's.
Nagy, there's a crosser. Winston Wright jitterbugs his way out to about the 30-yard line for a West Virginia first down, and a little bit of a sarcastic round of applause from the fans that are still here in Morgantown.
You know whose attention this defense has? I promise you, Lincoln Riley. I promise you this defense has Lincoln Riley's full attention. And I don't want to skip over TCU, and I don't want to skip over Texas Tech, respectfully. But this Oklahoma State should beat those 2 teams. Lincoln Riley's offense has struggled.
Another party at the quarterback, as you said, for the Pokes as they bring down Nagy at the 24-yard line. The true freshman Colin Oliver got there first.
Big part why, right? Jim Knowles coming over and now in his 4th year, and really came here as a man coverage guy and a 3-down coach. He's transitioned to a 4-down, sometimes 3-down zone defense, and very multiple. And he's brought a really good scheme, but also understanding how to help players play to their strength, and dominant 3rd-down defense.
Look at all these potential pass rushers and trying to diagnose which one's coming, and now Nagy does get out of harm's way, and he is able to find a check down in Sam James. But this is so different than the Big 12 defenses that I remember watching 10 or 15 years ago.
Correct.
Where it just felt like every game was basketball on grass, bubble screens, 2x2, and the defenses were just built to get their cleats in the ground and their eyes forward, keep it in front of them, stay totally vanilla. And now, this kind of a defense This is NFL stuff we're watching from Oklahoma State.
I think the biggest thing is defenses stopped allowing offenses to dictate to them, and they are now forcing offenses to react to them.
Dagey forced to run again. Oh, does he get hit hard? Devin Harper meets him at the 38-yard line. Wow. A gain of 3, and he paid for it. It's 4th down.
The rush shows up again for Oklahoma State. Oliver, Lacey, big hit by Devin Harper.
Devin Harper off the field after delivering that shot to Jarret Doege, and Doege stays in the game for 4th down and 2 with 6 minutes to go. But now West Virginia has to call a timeout from their sideline with the play clock winding down. So we'll step aside
West
for
Virginia
just a
has
moment.
called their first charge timeout of the second half. Timeout on the field.
Matt Berry in our college football studio with an update. We had a scoring stalemate between Texas A&M and Auburn. Bo Nix rolling out, loses it. Michael Clemens, scoop, score, Aggies. They would get the 2-point conversion. They're up 17-3. And coming up at the conclusion of this game, Bryce Young and Alabama making the walk against LSU. By the way, big game, Bob. I bet your stats have been amazing with Eric Murillo, statistician of the Stars today.
Wow. Got his name in there.
Well done. After the timeout, there's a slant, and it looks like the ball was taken away. Running with it is Christian Holmes. If it is an interception, I think he was down when he made the pick, but it looks like he had a 50-50 ball and just ripped it away.
That is...
Ruling on the field is an interception with a return man down. 1st down, Oklahoma State.
Missouri transfer with a pick.
He just literally rips it away over the top, climbs his back. Just a slant route up top. Hands on. Now watch him come over the top and rip the ball away.
Wow.
I think the ball lands on top of, is that Ford Wheaton? I think the ball lands on top of his legs, and he gets that pick.
So Christian Holmes. One last exclamation point for Oklahoma State. Sanders on a keeper, no gain with 5:40 to go. And we were talking a moment ago while we were in timeout about what Bedlam could be. Oklahoma State and Oklahoma both make it through undefeated.
Yep.
And they are playing that last game. That might be the first of 2, regardless of the outcome of that game, depending on how things shake out. But Oklahoma State, last time they won 10 back in 2017. They haven't beaten Oklahoma since 2014. It's all out there in front of them, and how hard it's going to be for a true freshman quarterback for the Sooners to look at this defense and diagnose everything that you have to pre-snap with all the different looks. That's going to be a tough task for Lincoln Riley to get a true freshman quarterback ready for that.
I think one of the greatest movies ever made is Taken with Liam Neeson. And there's a moment when he's on the phone and he goes, "Good luck." That's what I would say to Caleb Williams. Good luck, bud, because you are going to get Star Wars types of defenses. And I think that is an advantage for Oklahoma State with Jim Knowles. Is okay, Oklahoma's obviously talented, and Caleb's crazy talented as well. But you can minimize talent when you slow him down and you force him to go, Coach, I got no idea what's going on. And if they can win the line of scrimmage early downs and stop that run game, and you get all those blitz pressures, you can not only get sacks, you can create a lot of turnovers for him throwing into people that he doesn't see.
Dominic Richardson for a couple of yards. Yeah, even today, watching Oklahoma State against Jarret Doege and how they have forced Jarret Doege so many times today
Play slow,
to play
right?
with hesitation,
Yeah.
right? To not really be sure about where he wants to go with the football, and it results in numbers like this.
What it does is it forces you to play really hurried as a quarterback. You always want to play fast, never in a hurry. So you're forced to play very hurried, but you don't know where you should go with the football, right? So they're trying to confuse you while also creating those pass rush matchups, and Jim Knowles just does such a great job with it. And that's really the challenge. It's not just the quarterback, it's the offensive lineman, it's the receivers. And they're not asking you to.
Has called their first charge timeout of the second half, 30 seconds in length.
You make 2 or 3 mistakes, man. That's the difference in a ball game usually. So, by the way, Taken 1, 2, and 3 were all fantastic. I know you haven't seen them because you're boring, but 1, 2, and 3 were great.
Oh, you mean the movie where Liam Neeson goes out and shoots a lot of guys?
Wow.
That Liam Neeson movie.
Well, it's more like protection, you know.
I've seen them. I saw 1 and 2. I didn't see 3. There were a lot of unanswered questions at the end of 2.
3 was good.
So Oklahoma State let the clock wind down as far as they could. Mike Gundy called the timeout. Not sure if they're going to send their offense back out there for 4th and 4 or send the punt group out, but 8 sacks defensively. And that's a head coach that all day long has been frustrated watching his offense unable to move the football.
Yeah, and I love Neil Brown. I love his passion. There's coaches that you sit down and you have the chance to speak with them, and you walk away and you go, that guy's really good. Neil Brown's one of them, and I know today's a disappointing day. There's been some disappointing moments, certainly at the end of games this year for this West Virginia football team. But me personally, that's a coach that I believe in. That's a coach that if I had an 18-year-old, I'd send him to go play for him.
They're going to go for it on 4th down. Quarterback keeper Sanders tries to get to the sideline, and he's going to be tracked down by Sean Mahone. So Oklahoma State turns it over on downs. West Virginia's got it back, but Spencer Sanders had a very solid day.
Yeah, very impressive. See the whole picture. Peek to the left, it's not there. Get back to 2, 3, now get to 4 in the in route and make the right throw. I also like that he used his feet. Athletic quarterbacks, when you see a seam, there's no reason to hesitate. You put your foot in the ground and go. That helps you and it helps your offense. And I love his recognition. I got one-on-one down in the red zone right after the 3rd down conversion. Same play, same formation. Let me give my big receiver a chance to go make the play. So we have raved about this defense for Oklahoma State today and how it's going to help them versus Oklahoma, rightfully so. But I also think if you are going to get this play out of Spencer Sanders, okay, and you are going to get this consistency out of your run game and your defense to play that way, number 1, you can beat Oklahoma twice. And then number 2, you are a team that is worthy when it comes to, are you a 4th best team in the college football playoff ranking?
At least of being in the discussion.
If you get those 3 things,
sure.
Spencer Sanders playing this type of football, the run game staying consistent, and this defense, absolutely.
Quarterback run. Begging, check that. Garrett Green up the middle's got a 1st down, and now flags everywhere as he was going down, and he was hit late. Trey Rucker hit Green as he was going into the slide, and all the flags came out.
After the play is over, a personal foul, late hit with targeting number 39. Defense. That penalty will be enforced. 15 yards, 1st down. Previous play is under review.
So now they take a look to see if Trey Rucker did indeed not only hit Green, but hit him. That would also be a targeting foul, and again, forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player. And when you go into a slide as a quarterback, you are by definition defenseless. And Dan, I would say that is a launch, and that is forcible contact to the head.
Totally agree.
After reviewing the play, the ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 39 is disqualified.
And you've heard me say this. 3 years ago, when this rule really started to get implemented, I think the excuse of, well, what do you want a defensive player to do, was valid. I think now that we are so into this, and defensive players have seen so many examples of quarterbacks going down and understanding you can't even make it close. It can't even be close. I think that's one of the things that kind of frustrates me with this when it comes to the defensive players aspect.
Green stays in the game to throw. And now he is going to hoist one to the sideline and throw it away. I do think.
I also ran 6'2" in the 40, so I was never close to being a defensive player.
A reminder, our featured game coming up in the SEC. LSU, Alabama, 7 Eastern here on ESPN and the app, one tap. I do think, to your point, though, about there has always been this debate about what is a defensive player to do. Sometimes you do get caught in between. That was not a situation there where a player could have gotten caught in between. As Green takes the snap on second down, he's going to run it himself and get inside the 25 down to about the 23. Might have lost the football.
You know what? I would.
But I do think one thing that there
Ruling
is
on the
momentum.
field is that the runner's right forearm was down. It's third down.
There's momentum building in college football is to get to a place with targeting where the NBA is with flagrant fouls.
Yeah.
And have a targeting 1 and a targeting 2. And if it's a targeting 2, all right, kick the player out, suspended for part of next week and all of that. But there is such a thing, I think, as yes, it was targeting, but not with intent to injure.
No maliciousness
maybe the
behind
player shouldn't necessarily be kicked out for the rest of the game. Maybe just a
Previous
half.
play of the runner down is under further review.
And now they're going to go to review to see if indeed Green was down or if maybe he coughed the ball up.
I would be interested if I was a West Virginia fan, and also if I was a West Virginia local writer, of having the conversation with Neil Brown after this game when your offensive struggled. His knee down. Ooh, that ball might have got punched out. Harvell Peel looks like he might have punched that ball out or slapped that ball out from Garrett Green.
Yeah, but there has to be two things here. Not only are you going to review whether or not this was actually a fumble, but there has to be clear recovery to warrant the review. And to me, there's no reason to stop this play, whether he fumbled or not, because I think you can make the case that this is not clear recovery. I mean, Reese Smith, number 15, wide receiver for West Virginia, he jumps on top of the football. So what difference does it make if this is a fumble or not? Yeah, this is a useless stoppage.
You know what I was saying, though, because if I was a West Virginia fan, and again, one of the reporters, I love Neil Brown. I think the world of him. But I want to ask the question of, you've seen this offense go through stretches of struggle this year. Today was one of them. And specifically your quarterback. Why is Garrett Green not getting more playing time? I would want to know that answer. And I think that's a fair question to ask.
Or was there a time in this game where he's the change of pace, more mobile, kind of lightning quick guy?
Something, right?
Could you have gone to him in the third quarter to try and just change the way this game was going?
And it's not, I understand that you're trying to be respectful to Jarrett Doege. He's the leader of your football team. He's the leader of your football team. But you also have to, give everybody else the chance.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. The ball was recovered by West Virginia. First down.
You got to give everybody else the chance to, the best opportunity to win a football game. And sometimes you're just not having a good day. And if there's a guy that can help you.
Third down.
As a football team, and Garrett Green certainly has athleticism, seems like it can. I want to know why that wasn't used more or gone to earlier.
So West Virginia trying for pride's sake to get in the end zone before this game ends. Third down and 1 with Garrett Green in. And Justin Johnson next to him in the backfield. Green on a keeper. Nowhere to go. Colby Harvell Peel came up to make the stop. And it will be fourth down.
Short of the line again. It's fourth down.
And it looks like it's going to be a turnover on downs. Justin Johnson brought down slightly behind the line of scrimmage. And with a minute to go, it'll be victory formation for Oklahoma State. As impressive as it gets, especially on this side of the ball.
Good job by 91 Irby here. Senior getting some action late in a football game. So they're going to set the record, or this is their lowest yards given up, correct? Since 2012 when they played Savannah State.
And this is also the 18th time in their last 20 games that this defense is going to hold the opposition below their average points per game.
18 out of 20?
18 out of 20, stretching to last year, that this Oklahoma State defense has not allowed an opponent to reach what they average per game in terms of points. Well, this is the 7th time in their last 8 games they're not allowing 100 yards in the first half. I mean, regularly teams are going to halftime against this defense, scratching their head going, we didn't gain 100 yards in the first half. What do we do? And this drive just barely put West Virginia over 130 yards of offense.
Jim Knowles has got to be in the conversation for, you know, top assistant coach of the year, right? I mean, this defense is
the real deal.
Special unit, man.
So that will do it. We knew we were going to see a terrific defense. Would they stand up against West Virginia and put together one of their best performances of the year? The answer was yes.
Absolutely suffocating, relentless, and dominant defensive performance by Oklahoma State. Can't say enough about everybody on their defense and how impressive they have been. Spencer Sanders, again, another really efficient football game operating this offense. This is going to be a very difficult team to beat in the next 3 weeks for anybody, specifically Oklahoma.
Well, if you're the quarterback of this team with that defense out there, what's your job? Just don't go out there and make mistakes.
No doubt.
And once in a while, throw it to your best wide receiver. He did for 2 touchdowns today. And Chris is with Tay Martin.
Tay, congratulations on the win, the 2 touchdowns. What's been the difference for you recently of the last couple games and your connection with Spencer Sanders?
Just the reps. The reps we're getting in practice are translating in the game. You know, we're taking advantage every chance we get. The little details, getting everything right, and the timing is getting there. So it just looked good today, and I'm glad we finally get that rhythm going, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Defense held them to 3. How good are they on that side of the ball?
Hey, I said it back then. I'm gonna say it now. That's the best defense I've seen of my 5 years playing in college football. So I'm just keep on riding them guys as long as I could.
Listen, since Tuesday, the conversation is now going to be about the college football playoff. Is this a team that is good enough to be in the conversation?
Most definitely. I believe that in my heart, and I feel like everybody on the staff believe that here. And we're just gonna not look ahead and just stay focused.
I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's go.
Terrific performance by this offense, and complemented, of course, by a dominant defense.
Yeah, really good performance by Tay Martin. Just so many jobs, great jobs of winning at the line of scrimmage, down in the red zone using the big 6'4" frame, the fade route, little left arm extension, let the ball drop over the top. Really one of the difference makers today for this football team, specifically on the offensive side. Great young man, great story, impressive performance.
A statement win by Oklahoma State, 24-3 here in Morgantown. Coming up next on ESPN, College Football Scoreboard, Matt Barry, Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer are standing by. Stay tuned for Alabama, LSU as well.